This video is a small portion of the Quilt-As-You-Go Pincushion class over at Quilt Class. If you're interested in taking the full class, visit quiltclass.southerntrumquilts.com.
Okay, so let's say that you wanted to add some creative touches or some hand touches to your pincushion. I made a choice not to quilt this when we were piecing it together. I could have, machine stitches are a lot faster than hand stitches. So that's something I could have done. I could have added some quilting here and it would have looked really, really nice, especially if I had done it in like going this way on some of them and going this way on others. It could have ended up being quilted really cutely. But because this is such a tiny piece and it doesn't take me long to make these, I mean, we're talking just an afternoon on this. It's kind of nice to add some finishing touches. It's also really great to add these finishing touches on projects like this because they don't take as long versus a big project. So if you're learning how to do it, these little projects like this don't matter quite as much. So you could learn how to add the hand touches and then later on be able to add it to, a quilt that you spent weeks on or months on or something like that. So I think I just want to add just a few stitches here, some straight lines of some quilting, and I thought I would show you how to do that. So what I'm using is a pair of snips. They've got a curved point. You don't have to have it, but it just makes it easier to cut really nicely. I've got some DMC number 8 cotton balls. We have these in the shop. We have them in sets. We have them in single balls, and one ball will last a really long time. I mean, I could probably quilt 3 throw size quilts with one ball. So they go for a long while. I've had the same balls in my stash forever. I don't even know if I've ever run out of a ball. I've also got a sashiko needle, and I like this sashiko needle because it's a lot bigger and it makes this chunky thread easier to get in the needle and just kind of easier to work. So, and I've got a thimble. Again, all of this sold in the shop. All right, so my plan is going to be on the lighter colored fabrics to add the dark thread, and then on the darker fabrics add the light thread. And then I'm not going to add any, on my fussy cut fabrics because I want, to be able to see those. Alternatively, I could have done some kind of embroidery work on these the way I did the initial. So just a thought. I'm also not going to put any stitching on top of the printed fabric. I'm just going to do the tonals. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I just kind of want to add some cute touches. All right, so here's how we're going to get started. We are going to start with, let's start toward the center. So I'm going to start with this orange. So I'm going to get my white thread. All right, and I'm just going to cut a little bit more than my arm. And then I'm going to put just a basic knot, something everyone can do, just like you tying a shoe. So simple, but I don't want to pull it all the way tight because I want this knot to catch. So I've left it a little, not loose, but not pulled completely. That way it's a little bit bigger and it won't pop through my fabric. All right, and then I'm going to cut off that because it's frayed. I'm going to grab my sashiko needle. If you prefer a different thread, a different needle, all of that is fine. I'm just using this chunky thread because it shows up. It's real obvious and makes you look at it. It's an eye grabber. All right, get my thimble on, and then I am going to come in right here. Okay, I'm going to come in over this green and I'm going to get right there in the orange. Let me get you closer. All right, and one thing on this very first stitch, I only want to go through the first layers. It really doesn't matter, but I don't want to have any problems later. Plus, I'm teaching you the correct way to doing it versus the throw it together way to do it. Even though this is going to be on the inside, I could accidentally pull it or tug it when I'm stuffing this pincushion. So I'm going to do things right. So I'm only going through the top layer of my patchwork and probably some batting, but I'm not going through this on the first stitch. So you're going to get it in there, and you're going to pull until the needle or the knot catches, and then I'm going to hold this, and then just give it a tug until you hear that pop in, right? So it's popped in. I'm going to grab this little tail, pull it out, smidgen, cut it, and then when I pull again, it completely disappears within the patchwork. So just like that, right? Now when I stitch my running stitch, I am going to go through all 3 layers of this fabric sandwich. You can make your stitches as small or as big as you want. We're going to pop out of the back and then pop back in. And honestly, this can be as forgiving as you want it to be. You don't have to be perfect. This is a pincushion. So that's what I got. I'm going to go back in. And this is exactly the way we're going to bind. If you're going to use the binding option, this is the exact same way we're going to do binding. So I'm just kind of trying to stay toward the center. I'm not worrying about it too much. I'm just kind of doing it. Pull. All right, my stitches are not the exact same size. And again, it's a pincushion. I'm fine with whatever. If you're learning for the very first time this kind of handwork for a quilt, for something you were being particular with, you would want your stitches and your spacing between your stitches to be about the same amount. Nothing wrong with it being off a little. I mean, that's the beauty of handwork, but nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with trying for that either. So, plus the harder you try with things, especially if you have like an easy spirit where you're not getting frustrated or mad at yourself, you know that the more you learn. So you want to go for, you know, almost perfection, but you don't want to get mad when you don't get it. And I'm definitely not getting it here. But it's just for fun. And it's just to get our creativity in for the day or the week or whatever you're getting to do. All right, so I want to take one more stitch because I'm really close to the end. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my finger like this, and then I'm going like that. So I'm flipping my finger around like this, and I'm making a loop. I'm going to send my needle through it. I'm keeping my finger in there, right? And then when I get it almost to the bottom, I take my needle, I put it in the loop, just the tip, or about 1/2 inch of the tip, and then I pull all the way to the patchwork. And the reason I'm doing that is because that's where I want the knot to go. And if I hold it in place and pull the thread, the knot goes to the bottom. Right? All right, there it is. Pull tight. And then I'm going to take one more stitch just through the top fabric. And I'm going to come out. We're going in the same way we're going out the same way we went in. So one more stitch, and then come out somewhere on the fabric beside that one, right? The knot is going to catch, and then you're going to hold your fabric piece, and then I like to put my thimble here, my thumb here, and then pull. And you heard it pop right into place. It pops up under the fabric, and then it stays there. It's hidden and it's secure. I'm gonna cut my thread, and then if you scratch, it disappears. And let me show you my imperfect but beautiful stitches, right? They're definitely not the same size. They're a little bit crooked, especially down here, but it still adds the most beautiful touch. So that's how you would go about that. I will probably do another row of stitches right here. Let me do that, and I will pop back in, and I'm going to show you how to do a couple of X stitches, just in case you want to add some X stitches. All right, so let's talk about the X stitches. Now, I have not had a lot of experience with the X stitches, just kind of things like this in the past I have done, so no major X stitch work, as you can see. That my stitches started off tiny and then just got bigger as I got to the other side. I find it a little bit difficult, but you know, it's still something cute and a tiny touch. And then who really cares, right? Because my pins are going to be all over this, maybe, or maybe not, but it's a pincushion and I'm playing and I'm practicing. So kind of give yourself some grace to make a bunch of mix match shaped X's. But I'm going to show you how to do this. All right, so we're going to make a row of X's right here. So I'm going to turn this way just so I can get a better visual. And I want to go in, you know, toward the center. So I'm going to come over here, put my needle. Remember, I'm only going through the top layer, maybe some batting. And I'm just going to put me a stitch right here. And again, I'm going to pull until that knot goes under the fabric. And then let me just trim off the excess thread. All right, now there's probably a dozen different ways of making these little X stitches. And if I wanted to be super precise, I would definitely draw on here what I was doing. That way I couldn't do something like this, but I don't care, right? I'm playing. So we're going to go down this way and we're going to be constantly making the slash, you know, backwards. And then we're going to come back this way and then we're going to make the slash forwards. So that's the way I'm doing it. If you got a better way, please use it. All right, so I'm going to just make a stitch right here. And I'm going to go through all three layers. And then I'm going to have my stitch come back. I'm trying to do it in like a straight line on the bottom. So have my stitch come out right there. Pull. All right. And then I'm going to make another backwards slash right here. And then come out. I'm trying to come out right there. Okay. I'm already off to a crooked start. So here we go again. And then, so we're kind of like making a triangle. Boom, 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 boom. Right. And then maybe right here. You got a lot of things to watch out for. You want them to have the same slant or as close to it as you can get, which I've done for 3 of them, but that 4th one was just like a wild card right there. And I want them to be about the same size, but again, you know, I only care to a point. All right, one more this way. All right, now we're going to take one more stitch, and this time when we come up, we want to come up right here so we can do the crossover. So I'm taking my stitch and then I'm going to come up. This time I'm coming up at 90 degrees instead of that 45 degrees. All right. All right. Now we're going to go backwards. So I'm going to come up right here, or I'm going down, sorry, right there. And now we're doing slashes again, same direction, but underneath, because the slashes were above for going down, but on the way back up, they're going to be under, but in the same direction. So just like that. And then when I pull it taut, it makes the X. So just like that, right? Then I'm going to make the X on this one. And again, doing that slash underneath. Okay. It has a pretty cute hand touch. Even with mine being wonky, I like it. So I hope if you're doing this, I hope you are liking yours too, because it's just fun. It's just fun getting to do these more time-consuming, more difficult stitches that sometimes we don't allow ourselves on longer projects because we get in a hurry to see it completed, or that's what I always do anyway. I get into a hurry to either finish the quilt I'm working on, or maybe even to start the next quilt. And on these finishing things, I won't do a lot of handwork because I just I don't feel like I have the time for it. All right, so I'm gonna take one more stitch. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my knot. So again, it's like that. Let me do that one more time. It gets you in the middle here. Right? Send it through. I'm holding. Then when I get close to the bottom, then I'm gonna let my needle hold so I can get even closer. So just like that. Then I'm gonna take that last stitch right here and just pop out anywhere you want. But just through that top layer. Then we pull until the knot gets buried. There it goes. And then I can cut this thread. Obviously, wonky city. That's okay though. All right, I think that's all I'm gonna do. Or you know what? I may add a couple more here and maybe one here. But I'll show that to you later.
Want to improve your quilting skills? Join Quilt Class for just $15 a month. You'll get a new pattern, step-by-step demos, and access to a supportive quilting community. Learn, create, and connect all from the comfort of your home. Sign up today.